I still remember walking up the stage to collect my award during my secondary school graduation, and everybody was like clapping because, like, I was the only girl to enter the top percentile in my school. But that day, I can't lie to you, I felt a hole in my heart, right? That I knew that academics alone could not fail. As I made up my mind that when I was going to go to university, I was going to make the most of every single experience that I had. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you. 7 wisdom nuggets I wish I kind of understood a little bit earlier in my university experience that I sure would have made my university experience much more whole. And also thank you to Sphinxfire for sponsoring this video, but a little more on them later. And so I think my number one greatest regret from my university experience is never really understanding my role. So a lot of us apply to courses, right? And we just apply to them based on, oh, people say you're good at this subject, people say you're good at that subject, people say this is a good thing that you could do with your life, right? But a lot of us don't really understand what it means to be this role, what it means to be an accountant, what it means to be a business admin person, what it means to be a mechanical engineer. And so when it's time for you to be learning in classes, right, you won't really take what you're learning seriously because you don't really understand the purpose of what you're doing. And so something I started doing in my 500 level, right, but I wish I started doing it from my 100 level, and that is before you graduate, you should do this one thing for me. Number one, write out 10 job titles that someone that studies your course can fulfill. And then number two, write the skills and the knowledge they need to have to fulfill that role. So why am I telling you to do that? Because when you understand what you're supposed to do and the skills you're supposed to have and the knowledge you're supposed to acquire in that course you're studying to fulfill specific kinds of roles, you take what you're studying more seriously. You won't just cram the night before exam or be sleeping in class. And one of the major things I've always told you guys when it comes to studying, right, is that when you want to study, you need to understand the why. And having this kind of candid understanding will give you a greater why than a lot of things would actually give you. Then this second wisdom nugget I believe everybody should know before they leave university is about building your CGPA early. I feel like I knew this early on, but like I didn't really understand the power it has until like now when I'm looking back at my CGPA, I'm like, thank you Jesus, I built my CGPA early. Because when you have a solid GPA, especially from your 100 to 100 level, right? Especially if you're doing a 5 year course, the level of calm you'll be experiencing when it comes to your academics is almost ungodly. That's one wisdom nugget I want to leave with anybody that's probably in lower levels is that sincerely build your CGPA up. It's worth it. Every 5.0 or 4.5 or 4.8 that you have in 100 to 100 level is going to be a solid foundation upon which you'll be able to build your first class because it will give you the freedom to do other things with your life in your final year, to give you the freedom to learn other things and gamble and meet friends and have fun. I think your peace is worth it. Just saying. And this next wisdom nugget or regrets, almost this story go long, but I'm already seeing that this video has gone on for quite a while. But I promise you, every single thing I'm going to say in this video is really going to help your life as a university student, and it's learning how to manage money. And I'm going to tell you my money mistakes in the form of every single year I was in. And so when I was 100 level, right, I did not even save shit better. There was one time that my school organized for a mutual funds company to come and talk to us, but I think the process for setting it up was quite difficult. So I just never saved, I never invested, and I never did anything. And that teaches me time is also money. I cannot imagine what my investments would be if I started investing from my 100 level. So starting as early as you can will also be a good way to, use your money. And in my 200 level, that was when I started reading all these books that were teaching me about all these different things. That's why I did my first savings. I can never forget. It was 80,000. Not the 80,000 of now, 80,000 of that time, you guys. And guess what? I used it to save myself, guys. I used my savings to save myself. But that's not good, right? You're supposed to save up, let your savings be building interest in a high savings account or an emergency fund or things like that. So that was a terrible way to use my money. So my 200 level, once again, I saved up, but this time was even worse, guys. I emotionally spent my savings. So I can't forget this quote I saw on Twitter. It said that money where I saved gradually, you won't make I give you suddenly. That's what happens to me, guys. I give out the money just like that. And when it comes to giving money, right, you should not just empty your whole savings because what if you yourself you now later on need that money in the end? What will you not do? Will you start strangling the person? So don't give out money that that you later on need or something like that. Don't just emotionally spend money, but give according to the measure that you can give. Don't just give out everything. And so by my 400 level, I actually started taking my money very, very seriously. By the time I had given out this money, my training level was already raking. I was like, no, this one I have to make it. So I actually started taking my savings much more seriously. But of course, time had gone. So 500 level, right, I started investing and getting a whole lot better. But I was still quite scared, when it comes to like investing in some particular kinds of things. Of course, I had friends that understood this much more, so I asked questions and all that. But I was still trying to get my footing and understand where I should take this mistake or where I should take this particular funding. And that leads me on to the sponsor of this video, Finspire, guys. So Finspire is actually a company dedicated to promoting financial wisdom or equipping them with the knowledge that it actually really takes to build wealth. And so I attended one of their events right during my IT, and I can tell you that my mind was blown, guys. Like it made me to really understand the four different quadrants for investing and so many things, and what steps that I could actually take immediately after the conference. And those steps that I took actually really, really helped my finances. And so from May 29th to May 31st, right, they're going to be holding a 3 days workshop aimed at learning how to build wealth through stocks and other investment methods. And they're going to be having lots of impactful speakers from all across the world. And one thing I love about this conference is actually going to be an online webinar that everybody that's in this community can actually have access to, guys. And these are people that I can actually vouch for because I have attended their conferences, and I promise you, if you're looking for where to start with your investment journey, or you don't just know where to begin or how to go about it, these guys are your best bet in actually getting your finances on track. And because I love you guys, I've been able to secure a 30% discount off the webinar fee for the first 20 viewers to sign up using my particular web page. And don't worry, for the rest of you that won't be the first 20 viewers, I've actually secured a 15% discount for the rest of you guys as well. Because I truly believe that finances is not something that is taught in school, right? But I believe everybody should understand it and know it if you actually want to properly manage the money that you have once you leave school. And I know that you guys are a bunch of ambitious people, and that's why I've been able to secure this for you guys, because I know that you guys will really love something like this. So yeah, be sure to sign up with the link in the pinned comment or in the description. And thank you to Spinfire for sponsoring this video. So yeah, let's get on with the fifth point. The next wisdom nugget before graduating university is learning a money making skill, craft, or small business. I cannot even tell you how important this is, because aside from the fact that it's going to be helpful to you in the future, right? But it has a way of just building your confidence. If you've watched this video that I'm going to put by this side, right, you know that I told you guys about how I did so many other things, my jewelry business before, affiliate marketing, other things, because I was just trying my best to build a money making skill or something, that would give me money aside from maybe my one mainstream job, right? And it just helps you to have some other thing that you can be doing while you're still trying to build up your career, and it can also just serve as an extra stream of income. But apart from that, like, it just gives you opportunity to meet lots of wonderful people that will sincerely change your life. And eventually, that series of trying to discover what that skill was actually what led me to the learner side, right? And I can tell you that I feel very, very fulfilled now that I'm graduating from university. And I think this is even worth much more to me, than the first class I'm going to be graduating with, in all sincerity. It has given the opportunity to have certain kinds of conversations and meet certain kinds of people and have certain kinds of voices in certain kinds of rooms that I doubt that my first class will ever be able to, give me. And so having something else that you're learning that can perhaps give you money, right? It's just something I think everybody before they go to university should do, just because you can. And I think the three major stages of when you're trying to build this kind of thing are these, right? And the first one is the building stage. That stage where you're like learning and trying to understand what it is, how it works, and everything, right? And I promise you, you will make mistakes, your business will enter losses, and you feel like giving up on sometimes because you don't feel like you're understanding it. But I think that's the more reason to stick it out when you realize that you're not grabbing it. I think one of the things I really loved about this channel was that it pushed me, because I'm used to being the kind of person that I always really understand what I'm doing. But for the first time in my life, I wasn't really understanding. And I think that's all important part of the building stage, right? And the second one is the improvement stage. And each stage, mind you, actually happens within a year gap. So don't think that the building stage when you're learning of just for 1 month. No, no, no. I'm talking about a year, because I think about the stage of mastering any skill in 3 year gaps. And the improvement is just you getting better at your business, optimizing your systems, and learning how to properly execute in such a way that it's more seamless, more pretty, to the eye. And then the third stage, I would say, is the reaping stage, the stage where you start actually getting real reward for what you're doing. And I attended this conference in my was it 400 level, and I talked about is that first of all you do it for so you do it for free, you do it for a friend, and then you do it for a fee. And so of course not every business that works for, right? But I promise you, in that your third year stage, if you really mastered your year one and two, you start reaping and you start making more money that you can't even control. You even the one having to tell yourself what you should and should not take. It's just all about like finding what really works for you. And then that's not to say that you should go and become a creative or own a business or something like that. Being an accountant is also a skill. And you can start working for firms, being the accountant even before you leave. You can start, being the mechanical engineer junior before you leave your school. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and start a social media page or start a jewelry business or something like that, right? But it can also be in actively practicing the skill you want to use when you graduate. Because I think that's another mistake that our generation is heading towards. Everybody feels like as if they need to open a channel or start being a creative before they can actually make real money. But sometimes the boring skills that nobody really pays attention to are where the money is really coming from. So yeah, just find that thing that really works out for you, and I promise you, you won't regret it. And this next month, I think it was really the major shift, you know, in my investing experience, but it's investing in knowledge. I can definitely say I became a different woman when I started investing in my knowledge. Because reading is not just about being the girl online that's like, oh yeah, she reads, that kind of stuff. No. But it has a way of changing your life, changing your perspective, and making you a completely different person. And when I look at the major points in my life where I made some key choices, like starting this YouTube channel or doing something here in school or getting this particular experience, right, I can point it to a time when I read. And so I really advise, even if it's just one book a month, please guys, invest in reading, and not just any kind of anyhow books, but books that actually ensure that you think better and live better lives as a result of it. And this next, wisdom nuggets or regrets is something I'm still working on, especially in this my final year, right? But it's building good friends. When I look at, especially my academic life, right, I think I can really allot, my academic prowess to having really good friends, that inspired me on a daily basis. And just taking our time to know different people that you can clearly see that these people know where they're going. I think it's really worth the investment, building good friends around your life and all that. And I think I said 7 regrets, but I'm going to make it 8, guys. And this one is the one that came up recently, and it's being part of an association that was building maybe an event or something like that. So recently I've been trying to have an event in my school and everything, but I feel like if I had the experience of being part of a team like maybe Telecom University or CRDS that has experience with doing events, I would have had an easier experience with handling it than I should have. So yeah, getting experience from mentors or friends or associations, would definitely make your life easier, right? And it will lead to less regret and everything. So the last wisdom nugget for this video, I think it's just be knowing God, because the world is a crazy place, right? But being able to tap into the God inside of you and have access to the wisdom of God, it will always make the difference in your life, right? Because you won't be a conventional person anymore. You won't be a conformist, because God is special. God is different. Like, so when you're getting your wisdom from above, your strength from above, your power from above, right? You can never be like the conventional person. And I just feel one of my greatest like, I don't know English they feel me a big, but I'm just happy that I was able to just know God the way I know God now, my family before I graduated, because I feel it's a great advantage that anybody, no matter where you are in your workspace, in your business or whatever, knowing God, is really worth it, and to always give you the extra hand that other people don't have. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a little bit longer than what we've been doing these days, but I really hope that you learned something from it, right? And sure to subscribe and like so that other people that don't have this kind of knowledge can get access to it, right? And yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. Subscribe please before you go, guys. We want to reach 100,000 subscribers before we finish this year, and I know that we can do this together, building a community of people that believe in academic excellence. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.